Dusclops Tyranitar. Both these Pokemon are just so good on their own, but together they can be very, very powerful. And we're going to be covering this core today, so let's get into it. To start it off, of course, we're going to give a little bit of background on these Pokemon individually, so let's get into it. Dusclops. Now, this Pokemon has been trending up a little bit in recent days, but has trended down overall since DLC, with Porygon 2 becoming one of the more, used Trick Room setters. They both have Eviolite. They're both very, very bulky. They're both pretty slow, although Porygon 2 is closer to middling speed, but just bulky Trick Room setters is good in VGC. Now, what we see Dusclops doing is a little bit different from Porygon 2. Porygon 2 can get that special attacking upgrade and then do some big damage with Ice Beam and Tri-Attack and Thunderbolt, when Dusclops is more of a supportive role, having Ally Switch, Helping Hand, Will-O-Wisp, Bulldoze for proccing your own weakness policy, and so on. So essentially what we get with Dusclops is a very bulky, very slow Trick Room setter that can do things like Ally Switch and Will-O-Wisp while also proccing your own Tyranitar weakness policy with Bulldoze. So that's the main synergy with Dusclops is, activate Trick Room and then Bulldoze, make your Tyranitar very, very strong and fairly fast against fast teams. Outspeeding things like Togekiss and Dragapult when Trick Room is active. And Bulldoze actually lowers your speed as well, so that can be good and bad, because it lowers your opponent's Pokemon speed as well. But when you lower everything's speed, nothing's really getting lower, except, Dusclops, because it doesn't hit itself. Anyway, so Bulldoze is the main strat. If you look at these stats, this Pokemon is absurdly bulky. I mean, defense and special defense both at 130, and then times 1.5 with Eviolite. It's absolutely monstrous. Also, another really cool thing is that it's ghost type, so it can't be faked out. So really the only way to stop it from setting up Trick Room is to set up your own Trick Room or taunt it. So, I mean, do one of those. Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about Tyranitar. So Tyranitar, a little bit less to talk about as far as this Pokemon. Usually you're just going to be hitting really strong max attacks. You're just going to be attacking really, really hard with this Pokemon. We do have weakness policy, which is very, very good for this Pokemon, especially with that Bulldoze setup. And then we also have Sand Stream, which activates Sand, so you're going to have that, 1.5 times special defense boost, which is very good, making this Pokemon very, very bulky. HP at 100, defense at 110, special defense at 100, but 1.5 times, which is very good. It is very offensive, attack at 134, which is amazing, and a pretty low middling speed at 61. If you min speed it and then Bulldoze it, you're going to be attacking before a lot of stuff with 2 times attack. Tyranitar, very, very good stuff. I've liked this Pokemon. You don't have to play them together, but they do have a really powerful synergy together, being that Trick Room Bulldoze strat that we've seen a lot in recent days. So let's talk more about this team as a team. So, turn 1, a lot of the time you're going to want to set Trick Room, and then either, attack with the Tyranitar, protect, switch in, start with Dusclops, something else, and then switch around into the Tyranitar. That could be good as well. Support plus switch, protect or attack, something like that. A big goal of this team is to set Trick Room and then Bulldoze turn 2. So most of our combos are going to be just Trick Room Protect or Trick Room Attack, and then turn 2, Bulldoze and then a max attack, or Bulldoze and then regular attack, or Bulldoze and then, whatever you want. So yeah, that is going to be the main combos. Trick Room, turn 1, turn 2, Bulldoze, and sweep with Tyranitar. It's pretty straightforward, and it's really strong. And these Pokemon don't have to be a lead. This can also be a very strong late game combo, especially against hard Trick Room teams. Taking out the Trick Room Pokemon and then bringing this combo in and doing a lot of damage, it can be very, very strong. A couple of upsides that Tyranitar has that other Pokemon wouldn't get off of this, thing is it's very good against the main hard Trick Room strat, which is Hatterene Psy Spam, because we have that Dark typing, which gives us immunity, which is very good for Tyranitar. Also, that doesn't threaten Dusclops very much. Anyway, so yeah, you have a lot of options, Trick Room plus something or support plus something. And after turn 1, going for support attacks, you don't even have to always go for the very powerful Bulldoze. You have things like, Ally Switch to make your Tyranitar very strong, keep it alive, and then other moves as well. So, Ally Switch, Will-O-Wisp, Helping Hand, a lot of stuff that Dusclops can do. It also has like Pain Split and Nightshade if you want to just go a little on the offensive. It's very good. And then this option down here, I did want to bring to life. I saw that in the Players' Cup the other day, and it was just so smart. So, Amoonguss is very strong in Trick Room. So if you're a middling speed Pokemon team that wants to set Trick Room as part of its thing, if your opponent has Amoonguss, that can be pretty hard to beat. Spore under Trick Room can be a win con on its own. It's very hard to beat. But if you Will-O-Wisp your own special attacker on switch in, they can never Spore it because it's burned. So something you can do, you set Trick Room, your opponent switches in Amoonguss, they expect to just be able to Spore your Tyranitar and it's all good. Well, you switch your Tyranitar out for something like a Gastrodon. That's what the guy did in the Players' Cup, and then he Will-O-Wisp his own Gastrodon, a special attacker. Will-O-Wisp just, hurts it a little bit at the end of every turn. That's not that big of a deal. But now you have a Pokemon that can sweep under Trick Room, that can, deal with that Amoonguss before Tyranitar has to come back in and deal big damage. So it can be really, really good, and that can be a really cool little thing that you can do. So I wanted to bring that to light a little bit. Anyway, so yeah, that's about it for our what does it do. Obviously you have infinite other options, and a team with these two Pokemon as the core, it doesn't have to be the lead, it doesn't even have to be brought, but it is something that your opponent will have to respect. The Trick Room Bulldoze is very, very powerful. A very fast 2 times attack Pokemon like that, it's very, very hard to deal with after that. So, let's talk about how to beat it. So, ways of beating this. First off, the most obvious is fighting type attacks. T-Tar is weak to fighting 4 times quad effectiveness, so you want to just use a fighting attack and kill it. Pretty self-explanatory. That makes a lot of sense. But you have to be careful of Ally Switch. Ally Switch coming out from that Dusclops will then take away that attack. Fighting is, or Dusclops is immune to fighting. So you go for like a Max Knuckle into the T-Tar. They Ally Switch. Now you lost a turn. They get a lot of mileage off of that. You probably attacked after it with the Max Knuckle. So, you're losing a lot of mileage from Ally Switch happening. Not every Dusclops is going to be carrying Ally Switch, but it is something you'll have to respect. Next, we have Amoonguss. Now, this Pokemon is great under Trick Room. It's very scary to this core because, it just spores everything. So, like I said, we have that Will-O-Wisp switch into special attacker, self-targeting Will-O-Wisp. That can be a cool idea. But, Amoonguss is very, very threatening to this core, just sporing everything. So, you'll want to keep that in mind and play around that accordingly. Next, we have Rillaboom. Now, this Pokemon is just obviously very threatening to Tyranitar. It has a priority super effective attack. That Grassy Glide. It hits about 40 to 50% to a Dynamaxed Tyranitar, so you'll want to be very, very careful of that and keep that, as a threat, keep that respected. And then we also have, commonly carrying fighting coverage, things like Drain Punch or Superpower on the Rillaboom. I'd say about 50% of Rillaboom that I run into have a fighting type move. So, you'll want to be very, very careful of that. And you don't want to just like faint to a superpower at max Tyranitar. You know what I mean? Next, we have things that knock out Dusclops before Trick Room. Leads like Incineroar, Dragapult that have a lot of pressure, Lash Out plus the Max Phantasm will take it out immediately. That's something you really don't want to run into. You can Ally Switch, of course, but then you're still not setting up Trick Room that turn. And, Tyranitar after an Intimidate is not going to threaten these Pokemon too much. So, you're not going to be able to take them out, and they're going to be able to take out your Dusclops, and you're just going to be running turns behind if, they lead something like this. So this is just something you'll have to see and recognize. Dark Pokemon, Ghost Pokemon, things that do a lot of damage, you'll want Dusclops to be very, very careful of. Makes sense. Next, and last but not least, we do have ways of dealing with it without specific Pokemon. Things like statusing T-Tar, Burn It, Sleep It, very good stuff. We have Hard Trick Room. It's pretty hard for this team to beat Hard Trick Room because of the fact that, it plays middling speed typically. It sometimes will play lower speed Pokemon as well as sweepers, but things like Trick Room sweepers like Azumarill and Alola Marowak, Rhyperior, Pokemon like that. But against Hard Trick Room, this team can struggle a little bit. Not being able to deal with Hard Trick Room. Anyway, that is going to be it for how to beat it. Let's move on to some teammates. So, teammates for this core, it's a very small core. It's only Dusclops Tyranitar, so there's a lot of Pokemon that you can use. And it's a very flexible core as well. You don't have to use middling speed Pokemon. You can use slow Pokemon. You don't have to use slow or middling speed Pokemon. You can use fast Pokemon. It's very, a very flexible core. Only running one Trick Room setter and one middle speed Pokemon that likes to be under Trick Room as well. You can run a lot of things like good Trick Room Mons. A big goal of this team is to set up Trick Room and then sweep. So you can run things like the Azumarill or Alolan Marowak that we were talking about earlier. You can run those on your team, and then you just set up Trick Room, and then you can sweep with your Trick Room mode. But you're not locked to using only Trick Room Pokemon. Since Tyranitar is a pretty middle speed Pokemon, it works great for a fast offensive core as well, being able to just, get rid of the weather and just be, a powerful sweeper at the end of the game, or a great Maxmon. So, you have a lot of fast offensive teammates that work under it. Since we're not playing hard Trick Room, other modes work really well for this. And we'll see, we see a lot of hybrid, Trick Room, not hard Trick Room, but with a lot of fast stuff as well. So, it's very good to run different kind of modes on the team. So we have things like Excadrill that can get that Sand Rush and be very, very fast, as well as Cinderace, which is just naturally very fast. We have Togekiss Dragapult, which is a very common core that's just very fast and just naturally fast and strong. So, you have a lot of different options for fast offensive mons. These are just 4. You have so many different fast offensive Pokemon. So, next, we have also good middle speed Pokemon for this. Things that can be good in or out of Trick Room and just don't really care if Trick Room's even active. Both these Pokemon here, Incineroar and Rillaboom, they both have Fake Out. They both apply pressure in different ways. Lash Out is good. Burning Jealousy is a great option. We have a, +1 speed priority move on Rillaboom. That means, even if Trick Room is set up and your opponent's playing hard Trick Room, you can still go before them, which is very, very good. Knockoff against hard Trick Room teams with Porygon Z or Porygon 2 with Eviolite works really well. Rillaboom gets that as well. So, middle speed Pokemon work really well. Against a fast team, you set Trick Room and then use your middle speed Pokemon and you're fast. Or against a slow team, you just deny that Trick Room. And then, your middle speed Pokemon are fast. And I just realized this is Missile speed. Missile would be fast. Whoops. So let's look at some proven teams that have gotten good results and are from very good players that are using that Tyranitar Dusclops core. So first off, we have Wolfie VGC's Player Cup team. Link to his channel will be in the description. He's a great player. One of the biggest content creators for Pokemon. And he used the Dusclops Tyranitar core and as well as just like other good Pokemon. So let's decipher this team a little bit. So we have Cinderace, the Tyranitar Dusclops, we have Rillaboom, Milotic, and Incineroar. So right off the bat, we see almost everything is, offensive, physical offense. So we have that Milotic to deter some Intimidate. Very good stuff. Milotic, Cinderace can be a powerful lead. Milotic plus Rillaboom can be powerful. But then we also have that Tyranitar and Dusclops. So we see no Trick Room Pokemon or no very slow Pokemon right off the bat. So the only thing that we, are bulldoze Trick Rooming for is Tyranitar. Or your middle speed Pokemon against a fast team. So if your opponent's leading something, Togekiss Dragapult, something fast, Tailwind, like a Whimsicott Duraludon lead or something like that, you can set up Trick Room, and then you have Pokemon like the Tyranitar that are very fast under Trick Room after a Bulldoze, but you also have things like Incineroar, the Milotic, Rillaboom that are middle speed Pokemon that are outspeeding your opponent's Tailwind Pokemon, which is very good. Meaning you can even bring this Dusclops Trick Room set in the back, and then late game your opponent has Tailwind set up. They're banking on those next 2 turns just to be able to go first and just beat everything. Well, then you set up Trick Room and then you're beating them and using their own advantage as their disadvantage, which is really powerful. So yeah, this team is very, very strong and it's proven to be very well. He's made it through a couple of qualifiers in the Players Cup. He has been knocked out, but still very, very strong team, very strong player. Go check him out. Go give him a follow. Go give him a sub. Give the boy a sub. Anyway, next we have James Beck, very great player once again. He played in the Players Cup in the qualifiers. He has qualified for the next part of the Players Cup. Not the I think he's been knocked out at this point too. But I'm not entirely sure. I haven't been following his run as well as Wolfie's. He's been tweeting about it and stuff. So, but yeah, James Beck, great player, great team as well. We see a pretty Trick Room mode with that Torkoal Dusclops and potentially Tyranitar as well. But we also have the middle speed Pokemon, Venusaur not in Sun. Gyarados is a little bit above average middle speed. It's pretty fast. 146 is pretty fast. It's outspeeding a lot of Pokemon. But up against something like Dragapult and just like fast Pokemon in general, like Cinderace, and Teleon, setting that Trick Room could be good for Gyarados as well. Although you're not really going to be setting it up for Gyarados Trick Room as well. Usually you're going to be like Max Airstream. But yeah, like he has a very fast engine on his team. Charizard and Venusaur with Torkoal and Sun are both very, very fast. Gyarados is pretty fast naturally. But then you also have slow Pokemon like the Dusclops and Torkoal that can be a really, really strong, Trick Room setup. Sunroom is nothing new. Sunroom has been very good and has been around for a while. But, this core of Venusaur, Torkoal, Dusclops is a pretty used core for Sunroom, so it's pretty good. But we do see dual weather, which is really interesting, the Tyranitar Dusclops as well as the Venusaur Torkoal. It's a pretty interesting team, but it's very good nonetheless, and, he's gotten pretty good results, and he's a very, very well-proven player. He's an amazing player. Go check him out. He started a YouTube kind of recently, I think. Maybe not that recently, but definitely go check him out. He's a great player, great content. Both of these players make great content. They both stream on Twitch as well as YouTube, so definitely check them both out. I'll link both of their YouTubes in the description below. And yeah, I know James Beck has a rental. I played this same team like last week, but it was on the video that nobody liked because it was only a minute long. But yeah, I'm pretty sure both of these have a rental. I know for a fact James Beck's has a rental, but still, go check them out. And yeah, great players. Anyway, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. In sum up, Tyranitar Dusclops is not a very used core as much as just like, or not as much of a lead. It's something that, you can bring in the back. You can bring it as a lead. You don't even have to bring it. Just the threat of it makes your opponent have to, play around it. A +2 attack, fast, strong Tyranitar, very bulky Pokemon. It's pretty scary to go up against, and once it's Bulldozed Trick Room, it's pretty hard to deal with. So it works very well. And both of these Pokemon on their own are amazing. So yeah, definitely give this core a shot. I've been playing it a good bit recently. I think it's really strong, and yeah, I like it a lot. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. Follow me on Twitter, join my Discord, do all those things. That is going to be it for the video, so thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.